They said what? The people been wondering where Tago's at, man.
Yeah.
they they haven't been though.
Huh?
They haven't been though.
I mean, I feel like people have been probably wondering what's going on, what I'm doing, like what's my main like goal, objective, like what I'm doing, like with my career wise and choices. So they probably just like, a lot of people is like used to me like being on like type beats on YouTube, and I feel like the change and all that has like caused people like what like what's going on, because I've been on there like what 6 6 years, yeah, like 6 years 9 months.
Yeah, it's definitely been. I was just looking at the community page on the channel. It's
Yeah,
crazy. It was like 2016 was a crazy year. 2017 gonna be crazier. Like hundreds
yeah,
of people in there. It's nuts.
yeah, all on type beat
Yeah,
post, what I was posting on there.
yeah. On the community tab.
Yeah, so like I don't know, like I just feel like it was time for like something new. I just feel like doing, like the same thing. Cause I remember when we kind of met around in the beginning of, what was it, 2016,
Yeah,
2015 or something like that.
back in the day.
Yeah, it was like way back in the day. Like I remember I was like, it was kind of the beginning of everything, but then it was just like as I kept going on doing like, type beats, I started to feel like it was becoming like a job. And I low-key lost inspiration in myself, like, just putting a tight beat on there all the time. I feel like I was like draining myself of my own things and kind of like limiting myself to like what I could really do with the channel of, and of like connecting with a fan base. Like I feel like I connected with a lot of artists. I met a lot of artists on type beats. I feel like I met a lot of great artists on there. Like, that's how I met like, like Rod and all them like artists. Like, it don't matter who it is. I remember shoot, YG was on there. Like, it's a lot of people that I met on, just doing type beats. I met a lot of great like companions on there and stuff like that. But it was just like after a while, I felt like I was just uploading a tight beat all the time, every day. Like, I did it. I remember when I first did it, I was doing like 2 tight beats a day or 3 sometimes. And I feel like, after a while, I'm like, okay, it was going good. But then it was just like, I feel like, okay, I'm uploading these type beats, people are rapping on, people are catching on, this and that. And I really just did it for like the base of recognition first. Like I really want to just have like that, okay, I really want people to see like, okay, this dude can make beats. But like after a while, I feel like after you showing people like, okay, you can make beats, okay, what are you gonna do with showing people this talent? Are you gonna just show people and just keep posting the type beat, or are you gonna do other things with your channel to kind of brand or connect with artists in a different way? Or are you just gonna throw a type beat on there and then just let like artists just rap on it, y'all may link or whatever and this and that? Or are you actually gonna go towards like doing other things with your channel to get more connected, if it's with your artists, with the people that come on your channel, fan base wise and everything? Like I feel like just by looking and watching so many interviews and just like getting like game from like OGs and all that stuff, like it kind of just gave me like a different perspective on like, okay, maybe I do need to do something different. And me, I'm one of those type of people, I just kind of take risks and I just kind of just do things off the whim because I believe in like myself and like my career. So like, and I believe in like, like sometimes you just got to do things just to do them. Like you don't have to, like I know a lot of people wouldn't do that. They wouldn't just necessarily like go take down all their beats and this and that, because a lot of people sometimes won't see it like the way I may see it. Everybody's career is different, but like with mine, I just saw it in a different way, and I just wanted to do something different to kind of, I don't know, just go in a different route.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We've been hitting the YouTube type beats from all angles, but we're definitely gonna get into everything for sure. But we got a rare one. We caught shit. This like catching what ultra rare Pokemon. The the Tago interview. That's so you gotta throw a master ball at it, but we appreciate it. We appreciate it for sure. The producer room, powered by producer culture. Got the
Yeah.
goat, the big goat, Tago in the building.
That probably Tago.
But yeah, we definitely gonna get into it for sure. That the pivot has been crazy. It's been pretty inspiring, honestly. Um, but yeah, so you let's start it like that. You think YouTube is a good way that you could build out your brand because that's what your whole goal was initially, right? Just build out, make Tago like
Yeah.
a real name.
Definitely, like when it comes to building your brand and like really having your name get out there, if you really just want that recognition, like especially like when the type beats wasn't really necessarily a thing, YouTube was like one of the biggest things to like really go towards, like putting your type beat on there and like standing out and like really just showing people like, hey man, I can make beats. Like, and showing like artists, producers, whatever, like, hey man, I can make beats. Cause I didn't realize how many people were going on YouTube type beats until like going into studios and this and that. And you just see literally people pulling out, they were like, all right, go on type beat, go on this type beat. And they just pulling up type beats. It don't matter what artist it is. There was so many artists like just pulling out type beats on YouTube, like, and they were doing it. So it's definitely a good way to like build like your brand, like if you're really trying to get your name heard and get out there. But it's about standing out and doing something different from everybody else. So you really have to like have that one sound, I guess, or like something like just something that stands out from everybody else. That you know what I'm saying, Carl? Like something that just feels like, okay, like what am I doing different from this other person that's gonna make me stand out more than this other person? Or what am I doing different? Am I starting my beat different? And do I have different drums? Am I doing something different? Like, what are you doing different to cultivate that sound to where people would click on you every time and just always want to keep coming to your type beat channel and make them want to listen to you, make them want to hop on a beat and stuff like that. So bringing that recognition towards yourself and just trying to like really build that brand on that, that's a perfect way for anybody that started on there to really like get their name heard.
What did was there any like specific strategy that you used to try to make sure you were like different, or do you think back then the space was a lot less competitive, so it wasn't even it was just a matter of doing it more so?
Oh, say that one more time.
Like, were you actively trying to do things that made sure your channel, the way you were posting the beats, was different so you stood out back then?
Yeah, like I think so. Like, not even think so. I know so. Like, cause like I would be like, sometimes I remember when people isn't really necessarily doing the free, and me and this other producer named Lando, we was kind of just like doing like, just looking at a lot of like channels. And like this was kind of like in the ranges of when was it Internet Money? I think it was when Internet Money was first it was Cash Money AP. It was a couple people on there kind of doing that. And like I remember when it just type beats went from like how can I explain? It was like people we started putting free on the in the beginning of the beat. It wasn't necessarily free to like, oh yeah, you can just go get this for free, this and that. It was free for nonprofit users. But like people put the free on there, and like people kind of like, naturally kind of pivoted towards that. They were like, okay, oh, it's a free type beat, like it's a free beat, like it's something that I can get on for free, or like, and it's like something that people just kind of pull up in the studio, they'll see, but then people started catching on towards that. And then it was just like the cartoon thumbnails. I remember like the thumbnails, like everybody was doing like you know, like the normal pictures back then, and then it started like having like the cartoonish type thumbnails and stuff like that. Like those type things matter, like, because like it's like having people come towards your page without, it's like having people come towards your page without, it's like you're having a clickbait without really putting too much on there. Like, if you get what I'm saying, it's like you're having to clickbait your channel and having to make people, as soon as they see it on your front page, on a YouTube homepage, make them want to just click it and be like, oh yeah, let me listen to that. Like, or, oh yeah, that cartoon looks hard or whatever. Like, I remember I seen some comments still like, I only clicked this because of the cartoon on the thumbnail or something like that. And I was like, okay, so I really paid attention to like what people are saying in the comments sometimes. Like sometimes the people in the comments will give you what you need to do with your channel, because they'll like tell you like, okay, can you do more of this? Can you do that? Or like, I like this thumbnail, like, but it's like after a while of doing the same thumbnail, like not the same particular thumbnail, but like after a while of doing like the same cartoonish type thumbnail, it's like people started kind of venturing out towards like the real pictures, I guess I would say. Yeah, and it just kind of changed the whole thing. But like really, like it's really about what you put on there and like try to like clickbait your channel without doing too much. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that is. When did you like the years and everything all blur together, but like what made you want to start putting your beats up there in the first place, just to have some sort of outlet to show them off?
Just for recognition, I just really wanted to be heard.
Yeah.
Like, really, how it was. I don't think I ever really wanted anything else but just to be heard. Like, just be like, okay, I think this dude can go somewhere. But like, I just really wanted to be heard, to be honest. And I think I put that on my I put that on my Instagram at one time. I put like a throwback, it was like, man, somebody really hop on my beats. I said something like that. Like, it was just, I really just wanted to be heard, man. That's all it was.
Yeah, I think I remember when you had posted it back then, like,
yeah,
damn, somebody really just hop on the beats. Like,
yeah.
From when you said that to when it starts happening, it seems like somebody's jumping on a different type beat each and every single day. It seems like it happens pretty quickly. Like, what was that kind of like breaking point like? And was it happening like it seems like it was, where people were just jumping on a different type beat every day?
On my channel?
Yeah, like where you're just hearing your tag and all these random songs everywhere because you're like, everybody's just ripping stuff from your channel and just dropping songs with it.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. It was like, at one point in time, I was like, what? I couldn't even believe it with my own eyes. I was like, what? And I think that's when we kind of met and linked up and all that stuff. And I was like, I couldn't believe it, because like, it was kind of like it was manifested. Like, I put that one time and I said something, and then all of a sudden it was going crazy, because like I'm not even gonna lie to you, I really had no idea in my entire life that if I was just to put some beats up on here, like it would go like that. Like, I thought, I was gonna just put some beats up on here, I'm probably gonna get like a few traction or something like that. I did not think that, if I put some beats up on here, this is gonna happen like the way it happened. Or I didn't think that it was gonna hit like 1 million views on a beat, or 2-3 million views on a beat, or I didn't think of that. I just kind of just was grinding and just putting beats up on there.
Yeah, people overlook how crazy it is to have tight beats with 1 million plus views. Like, that's to get 1 million views on a tight beat is crazy.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. That's like the equivalent of like 10 mil for an artist or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. But the point is, it's crazy. But all right, so you start doing it with the goal to build the brand, get some recognition, brand recognition, really. And then next thing you know, it's everywhere. Like, everybody's jumping on your beats, everyone's going crazy.
Yeah.
It turns to real placements pretty quickly too after that. Like, what were some of the real like actual artists that started jumping on the beats that you would start like saying to people like, oh, I just got one with so and so, and like the homies or your girl or whatever would actually know who that is? Like, at what point did that start happening?
I think around 2017, like 2018, I think that's when I started getting that real type of like, so I started 2015, like 20, I would say like 2016, but really if you trying to like say something for real, like 2017, 2018, like that's when I started. Like, I remember I used to go out with my people and stuff, and then people like I heard it on the radio one time. Like I heard it, I'll hear it like on like this artist stuff. Somebody be like, "Oh man, I was listening to this," or "I was listening to that," and then I think that's whenever I had like like the Jada Youngins, and I'm not sure if that's when we was doing Rod Wave. Rod Wave, I think was around like 2019 or something like that. I think it was around them times, or 2018. It was something like that. And then it was a lot of artists, like like a lot of artists that I kind of like just started hearing on the beat, and I started hearing people like mention me on like on the social medias and all that stuff, and it was like, hey man, I hear this tag, I heard this tag on this, I heard it on that, and I heard it on this, and I heard it on that. And I just heard it on this person's story, and I just heard it on it was going like that. Like it was just moving. But I would definitely say like around like 2018.
No, it was definitely moving like that because I still think the craziest show in hip hop, Everyday Struggle. I still remember, just speaking of recognition and people recognizing, you remember when Akademiks sat there and he said, shout out to all the producers doing their thing on YouTube, pushing it to the forefront. Shout out to Cash Money AP. Shout out to Young Tago. I was like, this.
Yeah, he mentioned me, AP, and it was what was it? Concept P.
Concept P, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Concept
yeah,
P. Salute to Concept P.
Yeah, he had mentioned Concept P as well, and it was like when he said that, I was like, damn, and he was like, it was with Wayno. So like, yeah, he mentioned that with Wayno, and I was just like, I seen that, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, I had no idea like that it'll even get to that type of point, like to the where it's like being mentioned on the bigger platforms like Complex and stuff like that. So like, it's definitely like a blessing, like because like I had no idea, like being able to like do that and like still, that be like the main job. Like it doesn't feel like a job, like, just producing in general does not feel like a job. But just being able to do that and stuff like that, and just being able to be like, in my space and being able to like really make these things happen like that and like take care of like, of course, like family and all that stuff, and, just enjoying life, it's a blessing, like for real.
Yeah, it got to a point where it was definitely moving up and up and up and looked like it was going to keep going for forever. After that point, I feel like the major label placements start dropping more consistently for sure.
Yeah.
You know, YG drops, Rod at that point is a bigger artist, his stuff's consistently dropping, among a ton of other things. At that point in time, are you still going as hard on the beats on YouTube, or are you kind of starting to shift a little bit and thinking about things a little differently?
Now that's around that time, that's when I started like, people may not believe me, but like I already had like beats scheduled for so long.
Yeah.
Because YouTube, you can schedule beats for like a long period of time. So like the beats that a lot of people were hearing were like kind of like just beats that I put up on there that were already made, and I just scheduled them. So like at that time when the major labels and stuff like that, like Rod and YG and all that, and like Lil Baby and all them, were like starting to like catch on, and I was starting to get those type places. I started like having a lot more to do, because I remember I would, having to be going like city to city, doing, you know, just going, moving so much. So I definitely did not have time to like just be like, you know, posting the type beat all the time. Like, you know, like I had to schedule that. Like I had to like make sure like I was organized. Like I had to make sure I was, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna set these for like, you know, a week in advance, or like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna set this for maybe a month or something like that. And I would go, you know, handle the other side with like the, you know, like the major artists, like the placements and stuff like that, and or the upcoming artists, or some whatever, you know, I feel like I need to do in order to like grow myself. I was just heading towards more of like, okay, let me just schedule these beats and let me do this, let me do that, so everybody can, you know, make, you know what I mean? Like everybody can, if it's for people like upcoming artists trying to like really find, you know, get a beat with that, I already had it uploaded, and I had like the beats that I was doing for like, you know, like the labels and all that stuff of like other artists.
So you had it to a point. What's the longest you ever had them scheduled for?
I think the longest I had beats scheduled for was like for like like 4 months.
Like 4 months ahead of time, you had 4 months worth of type beats set up on YouTube. And how many at that point are you doing a week? You're not doing 2 a day at that point anymore.
Nah, I was still making like, oh, you talking about making beats?
No, obviously you were still cooking every day, like there's no tomorrow, but how often were you dropping on YouTube? Because like if you're dropping twice a day like you were in the beginning, 4 months ahead of time, that's like you sat down and scheduled 280 beats. But if you did like if you were doing 1 or 2 a week, then at that point it's a little bit different.
Nah, like I had started like doing like I started like kind of spacing them out, because it would be, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but like it would be a lot more work putting so much on there and then having to still do other things on top of that. So like I started spacing them out, and I started doing like every, I wouldn't say was I doing it every week? I can't too much remember of what I was doing. I think I was doing like every 3-4, I was doing like every 4 days to almost a week. So like that was still like a good amount of beats uploading, like every 4 days to a week. I'll do something like that and have my beats uploaded. Sometimes I'll even do it like every 3 days.
Yeah, so you're spacing them out. So it wasn't 280 scheduled at one time. That would have been
Nah, I couldn't do nah.
All right. So a lot of those more major label placements start dropping, etc. You kind of hit a point where you're like, all right, I think it makes sense for me to kind of slide and go into a different direction. What kind of sparked that thinking? Was it just the fact that you just felt like you were kind of done with it, or was it like a specific moment where you're like, maybe I should start thinking about, pivoting a little bit?
All right, say that one more time.
What was kind of the turning point for you to change from going to like, I'm putting a ton of effort into YouTube to, okay, I'm gonna spin off of here and do other things?
I think around like 2019, 2020. So we're in 2021 right now.
Yeah, because you had a crazy close to 2019. Like you had so many placements in 2019. 2020, yeah. You started 2020 with some crazy placements too, like No Cap and Uzi, among a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
I mean, when do you kind of decide to wipe the YouTube channel of all the beats?
It was like 2019, 2020. Like 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. Like
at that point, you're like, okay, I'm leaving like this chapter behind because I'm gonna go into this next chapter.
Yeah.
And what's the new focus?
The new focus. Now I don't want to speak too much because then I'll give too much out.
Yeah, don't give away the sauce, but you're definitely going in a different direction just based on some of the things you've you know, heard some of the rooms you've been in. Uh, but yeah, I mean, what's next for Tago? What gets you excited now?
So what gets me excited is just like now I feel like I can get back into that mode. It's kind of like when I first started. When I first started, I didn't. Sometimes you don't really realize like what you're doing in the beginning is the right thing. Sometimes,
Exactly. That's such a
yeah,
fact.
you
That's such
always,
a fact, bro.
you always. It don't matter who you are. Like you're always gonna go back into what you initially started with the first time. So like I was doing what I wanted to do the first go around. And I think that's where I'm headed towards. Like not where I think that's what I'm headed towards. Like the first go around, I was doing things in the way that I really wanted to do in the beginning. And I just kind of like, I just was, just on, YouTube type beats. I really just want to show people like, okay, he can do this. He can, building my name, building my brand. But like now that I'm headed towards like where I wanted to go in the first go around, that's what I'm doing now. So like I'm excited for it because it's really gonna bring like that production that I really wanted to do for so long. Like I feel like I've put myself in a certain box because like I was only tending to like, what people wanted from me from like, you remember I told you I was looking at the comments, I was only putting myself in a box because I feel like I was only giving people like what they wanted, but I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do and really show like, okay, dang, like this is what you want to do. Like this is what you're doing. Like I didn't really show too much of that because I got so far away from where I was initially, when I remember I said like where I first started, I got so far away from that. So like now that I'm going to like the first thing of what I initially want to do, I'm really excited for like what's to come in that new chapter.
Bro, that's such a fact. I even needed to hear that, like, and this you didn't even put it all that sophisticatedly, but it was just like the most perfect way to say it. Like, bro, sometimes you forget when you keep going that the things you were doing in the beginning were really the right things. Like, even as like, you spoke to me and you in the early like 2016 days or whatever it was, first linking up, like, and then now like so many of you guys have gotten like built these crazy brands and gotten so popular and got
Yeah.
plaques and so like some followers and everything. So now it's like, okay, I'm even at a point where like more so bigger names are like tapping in and hitting me and everything. But sometimes you got to remember like the why you started it, like the beginning, those guys grinding, like they're gonna get to that point too. Like you got to just keep tapping into like that beginning time and remembering why you were doing it for sure.
Yeah, you do. Like, and sometimes it's something that just like I always speak big on like intuition and stuff like that. Like it's like your intuition will just tell you, like your inner person will just speak to you and be like, hey man, something will just tell you like, hey yo, if it's Carl, like you, it's like Carl, come on now. This is what this is you right here. Like this is like something spoke to me and just told me like, and I was just like, all right, cool. And then I just, man, I don't know. I just thought differently.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. The other thing you said at the top of the conversation was like, you know, some people worry about going in a new direction or taking a new step or whatever, but you always been kind of the person that's like not afraid to take that risk or this or that. And I just think that's so true because like you can know if what you're doing is working. Like you can see the small signs of progress. So like if the shit is working, it's working, like just keep going and building towards it. But it's interesting for sure. It's definitely interesting.
Now it's because sometimes when it comes to risk, and I ain't gonna lie, it scares me because like when it comes to risk, it's like risk comes with a lot of like times where you feel like, bro, did I just do the wrong thing right now?
Yeah, like
Like,
uncertainty.
Yeah, because a risk is like a lot of people not really ready to just take that risk like that. Like sometimes you gotta just, like I told somebody in the studio one time, I was like, hey bro, sometimes you just gotta jump off the cliff. Like sometimes you just gotta do it. Like sometimes you just gotta just throw yourself out there, and you don't know what you can do until you actually do it. Like you never know what you can do until you actually do what you thought you couldn't do. Like what you thought you couldn't do, you'll be surprised on what you can do. Like, so like just taking that risk and just taking that big leap sometimes is a good thing. It may come with, a lot of like back talk. You may think like, oh man, I'm not going in the way I thought I was gonna go. You may think like a lot of people don't want to feel like they're losing, like, or feel like they're falling backwards. But sometimes with the risk, it's like you never know what's working in your favor until it just actually happens. Like you never know what's actually going on behind the scenes, or what's going on universe wise, or what's happening to like really make you connect to that where you're really supposed to not initially be, but where you're supposed to be. Like you never know what's going on until you actually just do what just do just let things go in the way it's gonna happen, and just just let the universe and stuff like that shock you. Like let stuff just come to you. Like just let things happen to you. It's gonna align the way it needs to align if it was meant.
That's definitely a fact. That was a lot right there, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
definitely a lot right there. What's it, bro? It's crazy. It's just crazy to just watch the whole progression. You know, what would you tell 2014 Tago making his first beat? What would you tell 2015 Tago who's deciding he thinks he might start posting beats on YouTube? What would you tell bro back then? Just be like, hey bro, you got to watch out for this, or you got to think about this.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, I'll probably tell myself just follow follow yourself, follow your intuition, and just go. Like, don't really think like of anything else. Just go. Like, just go and do you. Like, just do you. Like, don't think like, oh, like, people ain't watching this and that. Don't think like this and that. Don't think too much. Like, cause me, I ain't gonna lie, like, that's one thing I did do. I thought too damn much. Like I was thinking too much. Like thinking too much sometimes can throw you in a whole whim because you're thinking too much when you just initially just gotta just do you, just follow your straight path and just keep it like that. Like don't go off the curve. Don't be like moving this, doing that. Don't do too much. Like just go straight forward and just that's it.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it big time. Ton of gems. And I gotta say too, to when it comes to him saying to trust your gut, trust your instinct, don't overthink things. Like Tago is someone who did it. Like he's not so many people in the music industry give advice or talk about this or that, or these producers who are the like heads of the producer world or whatever. But it's like, yeah, but where's your backing to this? Like, bro, I've seen Tago come with holes in his shirt to LA for the first trip. Now he's got the big cozy jacket on, got the setup in the crib, going crazy. So it's definitely someone you gotta listen to. Like you gotta listen to it. Like don't not listen to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, it's crazy. Like, man, like I still think that's crazy. Like, cause I remember when everything kind of just started. Like with creators gotten big.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was
Yeah,
yeah. It was like the whole building was just concrete back then.
yeah. But now it's like seeing like where everything is now, like even just seeing like even yourself, like everything, like even the studio you're in right now, I could tell like that shit look like a spaceship. Like,
Yeah. So it's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely crazy.
yeah, like it's crazy to see, like, like it's wild, but like definitely like, you know, excited to just keep, you know, pushing out that forward and just keep going in the same mode that I've been, you know, going on. Like, so like, I'm excited for everything.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, we're just going to keep going up, but we appreciate it big time. The producer room, powered by producer culture. Make sure everyone like, comment, subscribe, comment who you want to see next. Tago, who we got to get? Who's another producer, internet producer, just gem that we got to get on here just to kick the game to all the people?
I ain't gonna lie, like it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of producers. My dude Lando, like I know he be on there a lot. I know he is real talented, like especially when it comes to like samples and all that stuff. He has been there like along the way. Like he has a lot of talent, and I feel like sometimes a lot of people like overlook that, like with him, because he really. That's one thing I would say. He, when it came to like grinding, he was like one of the ones who kind of like made me want to kind of like grind a little harder, just seeing how young he was. Like, you know, dude's like, he's now 20, but he was like 17.
Bro, when we all first started, I remember it was like, yo, send a pack for so-and-so. And it was like, all right, we got to wait. Lando's in his high school football game. Like I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So like he would be going for football, then do a type beat, then do like, you know, make like, I remember he used to make like 10, 20 beats in a day. Like, I was like, damn, bro. I was like, God. And it made me want to like just make stuff like that. So like, you know, like definitely Lando, like I seen, he works hard as I don't know what. Like he has like that work that he's real crazy on production. Like, so yeah, definitely say Lando.
Yeah, Lando might have to be the next one. Tap into Lando for me. Everybody make sure they like, comment, subscribe, comment who you want to see next. The producer room, powered by producer culture. Tago the legend. We appreciate it. Let's go.